Ay, wala din ko nag-ano cam. Sorry. Okay, let's have activity number 4, class. This is entitled Naming Inorganic Compounds. So we are down now sa pag-name ng ating mga compounds, inorganic. Kasi inorganic chemistry pa tayo, sa finals pa tayo mag-organic chem class. So we will be naming substances that are, or compounds that do not contain carbon. We will be studying how to name them, and at the same time how to make the chemical formula if ever name yung binigay. So we have here, remember, our simplest matter is our element, but actually, di ba, element can combine. 2 or more elements can combine with each other and form compounds. So these compounds will be named according to the rules set by the EUPAC, or the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So again, sila yung nagsiset ng rules, paano i-name, paano gawin yung chemical formula. So we have systematic names. Ito yung ating gagamitin, the systematic names. And actually, our compounds also have their trivial or even their common names. So that's it for the activity. Our objective is, first, we have write the chemical formulas of given named compounds, and second, we have write the names of given compound formulas. So we have here hanggang C ata ito. Okay. So letter A, what you are going to do is to give the correct formula for the given. So you have their list of positive ions, and then you will be combining it with the negative ions. Tapos, isusulat natin yung tamang chemical formula nila. So the first one is actually done for you, but I will do another one later for your reference. And how are we going to do that? And then for the second part, this is still actually writing the chemical formula for the inorganic compounds. And lastly, here you will be writing their chemical name. So we have here given na mga chemical formula, and then you will be writing the name. Okay? So let us start. Wait lang, let me open this. Wait lang. Sige, let's start first with how to make a chemical formula for our inorganic compounds. So please get your periodic table, the one I told you to make for activity number 3. Where is my pen? Ayan. Again, kindly get your periodic tables so that makasunod kayo sa akin when we make the chemical formula. I hope nag-familiarize na mo sa mga symbols and names ng ating elements. So let's start. Let's start, class, with the rules or the guidelines for the naming of inorganic compounds. Again, inorganic compounds. But let's have first those compounds that have non-metal, sorry, let me erase this. We have first the metal plus the non-metal na mga compounds, or that is what we call the ionic compounds. Again, mga ionic compounds natin, they are called ionic compounds because they have in their chemical formula a positively charged ion combined with a negatively charged ion. But to be specific, let's have first the metal plus the non-metal. So what is our rule here? Number 1, if we're going to make the chemical formula, the first thing that we're going to do is to write the symbols. So for example, I have given you here sodium fluoride. Again, for example, I have here sodium fluoride, and then you will be asked to make the chemical formula. Now, unsa ang first step? Write the symbols. What will be the symbol for sodium? Again, what is the symbol? Na. How about the fluoride?
F, ma'am.
F. Fluoride glass is actually the fluorine. Okay, do not forget that. Fluoride is the fluorine. Ay, kadot lang. I want to change. So this is Na. And fluoride is for fluorine. Thus, ang symbol niya kay F. Now, next. The next thing that we are going to do is to write their charges. That's the next thing. Now, sa lecture, di ba, I told you how to identify the charges of the elements. Tama? Sa lecture kanina, I hope nag-take down kayo, nag-take note kayo nung how to know the charges of the elements. So, let's see if naminaw. Unsa ba ang charge sa sodium class?
+1.
Okay. Why? Kasi sodium belongs sa group 1A and thus ang charge ana niya kay +1. How about si fluorine?
-1, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Fluorine belongs here sa group 7A. So, di ba ang nasa group 7A, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine, ang charge nila kay -1. So do you still have a copy of your notes a while ago? Please refer to that. Next, number 3. The number 3 sa steps natin is to add the charges. Okay. Ang sunod din yung buhaton, i-add ang mga charges. If the sum of the charges is equal to 0, then saan siya? The chemical formula is correct already. Dili na wala na tay himuon. Ano na siya? Idugtong na lang nato ang duha ka symbol and then that's it. Correct na siya nga formula. Pero if the sum is not equal to 0, what are we going to do? We do the crisscross. This is the time we do the crisscross. So ato siyang i-apply. So we have here the example Na +1, F -1. Let's add +1 plus -1. Pila na siya?
1, ma'am.
Positive
0.
+1 plus -1 is equal to 0. So ingon diri pag ang sum daw is equal to 0, the formula is already correct. All we need to do is to combine the symbols. So the correct formula for sodium fluoride is just the combination of their symbols. NaF. Nasundan? Or let's have another example.
Another example.
Okay, sige, let's try another one. Let me erase this first. Okay, so for example, we have here, calcium oxide. Calcium oxide. That's the next example. So we have this one. So, unsay first step na to? Write the symbols. What is the symbol for calcium?
Ca.
Okay, very good. This is Ca. How about oxide?
O.
Okay. Take note class, in naming kasi, the second element always ends with IDE. So for example, chlorine, instead of chlorine, it will become chloride. So pag maingon gani kag chloride, it is referring to chlorine. So pag maingon kag oxide, it is oxygen. Ilisan lang na iyahang ending og IDE. So this is now here. Now, what's the next thing that we are going to do?
Write
The charges.
Charges. Let's identify their charges. How about calcium? What will be the charge?
Positive.
Take note class, calcium is found here sa group 2. So, iyahang charge kay positive 2. How about the oxygen?
Negative 2 po.
Negative 2.
Okay, take note. This one here is negative 2. So, next, add the charges. Positive 2 plus negative 2.
0 po.
0. So, pag 0, unsa himuon, we just combine the symbols and that is already the correct chemical formula for the given compound. Okay, Justin. So, this will be now for the calcium oxide, the correct chemical formula is CaO. That's how we do it sa chemistry. Kasi always na siya class na ang compound dapat wala na siya charge. So if we add the positive and the negative charges sa ilahang mga components, 0 yun na siya. So this is again the correct formula for calcium oxide. So let's have another example. So we have now aluminum oxide. Again, aluminum oxide. You try first making the formula and then let's check later. Sige. Sa na inyong nasulat din ha? Sa atong first step gani, write the
Sulat ang
symbols.
symbols, ma'am.
Okay, so what is the symbol for aluminum?
AL.
So for oxide,
O.
okay. Next, we'll have the charges. What will be the charge of aluminum?
Positive 3.
Positive 3. Take note, aluminum is found here. So that is positive 3. Kaya na-belong na siya sa group 3A. Positive 3. How about oxygen?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. So next, positive 3 plus negative 2 is equal to
1.
1. Positive 1. So, dili siya equal to 0. Pag dili daw siya equal to 0, what are we going to do?
Crisscross po.
Crisscross. So, this is how you do it, class. Crisscross, meaning 3 will be given to oxygen and 2 will be given to aluminum. And paano siya isulat? Sulat niyo siya, class. The symbol pa rin. Positive permi ang mauna ha, ang positively charged. So, Al, tapos 'di ba sa kanya na ang 2, isulat natin siya as subscript. And then oxygen will have the 3, again isulat siya as subscript. So for aluminum oxide, this is how you make the correct chemical formula. Al2 That is the correct chemical formula for aluminum oxide. Again, Al2O3. Nasundan? Did we get the same answer? Dinha sa inyong gisulat. Parehas ba tag-answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Open sa uban. Again, Al2O3 ha. Nakita ninyo class, crisscross. Ang charge class ni oxygen will become the subscript of aluminum. And ang charge ni aluminum will be the subscript of oxygen. So para class, nga pag i-check na to, let's try to check ha kung mag-equal yun ba ni siya sa 0. So di ba Al2O3? Di ba ang charge ni aluminum kay positive 3? So duha ka buok na positive 3, that means we have here a total of positive 6. Tapos ang charge ni oxygen kay negative 2. Pero we have 3 oxygens here. So 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So positive 6 plus negative 6 is equal to 0. That is how you check class if your chemical formula is really correct. Again, if it is really correct, pag i-add na to ang ilahang positive ug negative charges, mag-equal yun na siya sa 0. Okay? Let's have another one. Questions day so far? Class, asa dapit ang wala na sabtan dinhi?
I-multiply ilang charges, ma'am, no? Tapos i-add.
Oo, para mabalaan nimo nga 0 ang
Thank you,
iyahang
ma'am.
sum. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes?
pag ibutang na gud siya sa subscript, mawala na iyang negative nga symbol.
Mawala na. Mawala na. You will just write it as Al2O3. Ang sa second step lang to siya class nga ibutang nato ang mga charges just to see whether we will be doing the crisscross or not. But for the final answer, this is what it looks like. Al2O3. Anything else? So let's have another one. Okay. We'll have the mag-isip ko. Sige. Potassium sulfide. Again, we have there potassium sulfide. So you try daw if nasundan ba ato ang steps.
Ma'am,
Yes?
sa para makuha gud ma'am if tama ba siya, if mag-equal to 0 siya, di ba ang tong subscript i-multiply man siya sa charges, ma'am. So for example, katong sa aluminum, iyang subscript is 2. Ito multiply to positive plus siya, ma'am, sa positive, multiply to positive 3 na charge sa oxygen. Tapos pag sa oxygen na pod, ma'am, ang 3 i-multiply sa negative 2.
So
Okay,
positive
thank you.
6 ug negative 6. So
Okay,
equal siya sa
thank you.
0. Sige, you try the potassium sulfide. You may try to send your answers at chat if you are done. And let's see later if we'll get the same answer. Okay? So let's see. May mga nag-chat dito, no? Wait lang. Let's look at it. So potassium sulfide, the first thing again to do is to write the symbol. So take note class, pag sinabing potassium, ang symbol niyan ay K. So we have here K. And then sulfide is sulfur. Again, sulfur ang sulfide has. So this is S. Next, let's try to identify their charges. So potassium class belongs sa group 1. Again, potassium belongs sa group 1. So iyahang charge kay
Positive
positive
1.
1. Tapos ang sulfur, it belongs sa group 6. Diba ang mga naa sa group 6A nato ilahang charge kay negative 2. So positive 1 plus negative 2. That is negative 1. So that is negative 1. Dili siya equal to 0. So unsay himuon nato? We will be doing the
Crisscross.
Okay, so crisscross nato. The 1 will be given to sulfur and this 2 here will be given to potassium. So a class, no need na ang charges ana pagsulat ha. So this will become now, since potassium will have the 2 will be written as a subscript and then idugtong nyo lang ang sulfur. Now class, in this case, actually no need to place 1. Kapag ka isa lang gani, nag-crisscross ta pero 1 lang ang supposedly subscript sa element, no need to write the 1. Magsugod lang kagbutang sa number if more than 2 or more na siya ang subscript. So this is the correct formula now for potassium sulfide, K2S. Again, K2S na siya. So tama tong mga nag-send sa chat na K2S. It's just that katong mga gibutangan og 1, again, no need na magbutang og 1 diri ha, dili na siya ginabutang. Ano na siya? Automatic na siya na if you write a letter S here, you have 1 sulfur. Okay? So that is, this one now is the final answer. Pero if you want to check class, like if you want to check whether this is really the correct chemical formula, we'll just add the total number of charges. So, di ba, ang potassium kay positive 1, pero you have 2 atoms there. So, this is a total of positive 2. And remember, sulfur, isa lang siya, pero iyang charge kay negative 2. So, this is equal to 0. So, definitely, this one, class, is the correct chemical formula of potassium sulfide. Yeah, potassium sulfide na siya. Francis. We are dealing with metals plus non-metals. Wala pa tayo example sa polyatomic ions. Any question about the making of the chemical formula? Lisod? What do you think? Mahirap? Or okay lang? Kaya lang? Wait lang ha, let us delete this one. So do not forget class, just this morning I have given you, remember the charges of these elements. We have positive 1 here, positive 2, positive 3. This can be either positive 4 or negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, and negative 1. And then the transition metals are positive 2 except for chromium. Pwede siya positive 2 or positive 3. This one also. The iron also. And even the cobalt. And even the nickel. Pag abot kay copper, it is positive 1 or positive 2. So these are the elements na tigdadalawa yung oxidation states. Tapos silver is positive 1. The gold is either positive 1 or positive 3. Si silver, isa lang na ha. Positive 1 lang gina siya. And then we have mercury, either positive 1 or positive 2 also. And for 2 more, we have tin, positive 2 or positive 4, and also with the lead. So let me give you an example. For this, kaning mga elements nga duha ang charge. We have like, let's try to use copper 2 chloride. Again, copper 2 chloride. This one is the given na compound. So, di ba I told you, kagaina pod, kagainang buntag, na kapag duha ang charge sa atuang element, sa ilahang name pa lang, ginabutang na kung unsa ang ilahang charge. Para klaro-klaro siya na this is copper 2 chloride. So, pag himuon na to ang iyahang chemical formula, the same lang gihapon ato ang steps. We'll just write the symbols. Copper is Cu, chloride is Cl. Tapos ang charge niya, class, remember this? The one that is inside the open and closed parenthesis will give you a hint na mauna siya ang charge ni copper, positive 2. Again, this is only through aning mga elements na ako ang ipanghatag ang duha ka buok ilahang charges. And then for chloride, it is negative 1. So if we add positive 2 plus negative 1, that is equal to positive 1. So, kailangan ta mag-crisscross. So, if we do the crisscross, copper now, wait lang, let me write that. Copper now will have the 1, pero di ba ingon ko pag 1, dili na butangan og 1 nga subscript, diretso na na siya. And then, idugtong nato si Cl, pero Cl will have the 2. So, this is now the correct chemical formula for copper chloride, CuCl2. Okay? Questions so far about this? That is the same thing, class, pag reason ako ha. Example, dili ang ayupak name ang gihatag. Example, ang gihatag kay this one. Example, ang gihatag kay ferric bromide. Sa ganito akong giingon kagaina nga about sa OUS ug sa IC, who can remember?
IC ang higher charge, ma'am.
Okay, IC ang higher charge and OUS ang lower charge. So kung ferric na siya, this is still iron. Pag ferric, 'di ba, iron gihapon na siya. Tapos bromide is Br. Pero ang charge ana niya kay ferric man ni siya, meaning ato ang kwaon tong higher charge ni iron, and that is positive 3. Duha ra man na yan charge, positive 2 or positive 3. So IC man, meaning ang mas taas, positive 3. And then bromide belongs here sa halogen, so negative 1 na siya. So positive 3 positive 3 plus negative 1 is positive 2. So, dili siya 0. We need to do crisscross here. Therefore, Fe will now have the 1. Pero again, no need to write 1. And then, Br will have the 3. So, this is now the correct chemical formula of ferric bromide. FeBr3. So, again ha, pwede manggod nga isulat siya as iron 3 bromide. Pwede po na ipangalan sa iyaha ang iyahang common name, which is the ferric bromide. Pero again, this one is the systematic name. This one is the common name. Pero pareha silang chemical formula kay the same substance lang na sila. Inyong lang tandaan, pag IC gani ang ending, mo na siya ang higher nga charge. Pag OUS, kung example ferrous, lower nga charge imuhang sundon. Question so far sa ato ang paghimo og chemical formula. This is between metal and non-metal ha. So it's very important also for you to know kung ang ato abang element is a metal or a non-metal. So tan-awon nato ulit. Remember, unsa lang atong mga non-metal class? Syempre si hydrogen, non-metal nato na siya. Tandaan ninyo kay para di mo malibog. Syempre si carbon. Wait lang, hindi ko malibad. Carbon, phosphorus, selenium, even our halogens padulong sa ato ang dinhi noble gases maulang na class ato ang mga non-metals. Again, tandain ninyo nga maura ni atong mga non-metals ay naguhit. So nganong kailangan man nato mabalaan ng ato ang mga non-metals? Because katong akong gitudlo sa inyo ha kagaina nga process, di ba? Para to siya sa metal plus non-metal. So kung napansin ninyo sa high potassium, it is a metal, calcium, metal gihapon na, iron, metal gihapon, copper, and always sila i-partner diri. Oxygen, kung dili oxygen, sulfur, kung dili sulfur, we have the fluorine, chlorine, bromine, or even iodine. Kasi again, katong steps 1 to 3, na ibutang ang symbol, i-identify ang charge, tapos i-add para to siya sa metal plus non-metal. So karon mag-move on ta sa sunod nga part. Let's talk about the inorganic compounds. Pero unsa sila? Between sila sa lobat. This time naman is for non-metal plus non-metal. Meaning both of the elements involved are non-metals. So example, CO. Carbon, we have carbon here. So included si carbon, yes, sa non-metal. And oxygen is also a non-metal. So mo niya tong example. No, paano man ni siya i-name? Paano siya i-name? We use the prefixes. So, use the prefixes. Kasi makaalala sa prefixes tong high school ninyo? Na ginabutang sa pangalan sa element? Sa ganito? Wala na yung nakaalala.
Mono, di, tri.
Okay.
Kaya to, ma'am.
Yes, mauna siya. So, mono, di, hangtod 10 lang sa taha, tri, tetra, mono, di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta. Oops, this is hepta ha. Oh, ilisan mo na po. Wait lang. This is hepta, and then octa, nona, and deca. So hangtod 10 lang sa. So mao ni class ang mga prefixes nato. Di ba pag maingon mo prefixes sa inyong English, you have learned that ang prefixes ginadugtong siya sa unahan sa word. Okay? Again, sa unahan siya sa word. So nakapasunod na siya pag maingon kag mono, it's 1, di is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay? So, this one is naming. Naming din ako ginatudlohan. Naming lang sa ta. Balihon na to siya later na magbuhat ta og chemical formula. Naming lang sa ta. Tapos, again, use the prefixes. Tapos, number 2, ang second element class, again, ang second element, kay duha man ni sila ka elements, di ba? Always na siya nag-end with I, D, E. So, ilisa nato ang ending sa second element og IDE. For example, oxygen. Instead of oxygen, we drop this one and ilisa nato siya og IDE. Or example, sulfur. Sulfur, kuwaon nato ning UR and then we will name it as sulfide. Kapag ka second element siya. So, let's have the first example, CO. C is isa lang kabuok. Again, isa lang kabuok. What is C? Di ba? Carbon. Kapag ani siya class nga first element siya tapos isa lang kabuok, take note, no need to use the prefix or prefixes. Again, if it is the first element and it only has one atom, no need to use the element. Thus, we write this as carbon. Carbon lang yun siya. Saram na siya kabuok. Dili nimo siya gamitan og prefixes. Pero ang sunod niya nga element, bisag isa lang na siya kabuok, ginagamitan na nato siya og prefix. So unsay prefix kung isa lang kabuok? Unsay prefix? Mono. So isulat nato siya diri class mono. And then, what is again O? Di ba? O is oxygen, pero second element man na siya, so mag-end dapat siya sa IDE. So this will be known as oxide. Pero dili siya monooxide ha, idiretso na nato siya. Monoxide. So dili na siya double O. So we call this one as carbon monoxide. So that's how we name class inorganic compounds basta non-metal plus non-metal. So carbon and oxygen are both non-metal. Are you familiar with carbon monoxide? Asa na nato makuha si carbon monoxide?
Kung sa usok sa tambutso, ma'am.
Okay, ang usok sa tambutso. So muna siya class nga basta nagabiyahe mo, dili gyud na maiwasan nga makatulugon mo pagkahuman kay malanghap ninyo ang carbon monoxide. Pero class kung CO2, so it's the same thing, carbon and oxygen are both non-metals. So when we name them, we will follow this rule gihapon, use the prefixes. Pero again, pag first element tapos one atom lang, no need to write mono. Mo diretso na kaog carbon. Tapos, what is our prefix for 2? We have here the di. Okay, di. And then, unsang oxygen, we call this as oxide.
Oxide.
Okay, diretso na nato siya butang dire. Carbon dioxide. That's how we name class ha, non-metal plus non-metal. So, hatagan ta mog example nga dili isa lang ang atom diri sa first nga element. Example, we have here the N2O3. Sample kani, N2O3. N2O3. So the first element now is 2 atoms. So pwede ay ano na siya class, pag 2 or more atoms na siya sa first nga element, kailangan na nato mo gamit og prefixes or prefix. So 2 is again di, 'di ba? What is N?
Nitrogen.
Okay, dinitrogen. How about this? What is our prefix for 3? Tri, and then oxygen is, ilisan nato iyahang ending og IDE, so this is trioxide. So we name this one as dinitrogen trioxide. So again, maggamit na tag prefix ha diri sa first element kapag ka 2 or more na siya. Diri sa second element, always gina siya ginabatangan og prefix. Tapos, ilisa nato ang ending ug IDE. So, kung nakita ninyo class, nitrogen also is a non-metal. So, kailangan nato mo gamit og prefixes. I hope clear na siya. Gamiton lang nato ning prefixes pag if it is between non-metal and non-metal. So, karon pagpahimuon ta og chemical formula, kung example, baliktaron nato siya. Ang ako ang ihatag kay chemical formula. Ayan, example lang akong ihatag kay saan ba akong gamiton? We'll use sige, this one na lang sa N2. Karon sulat ako. Kadjut baliktad ay ang pangalan man di akong ihatag no pagkagwapa. Example lang akong ihatag is dinitrogen pentoxide. Ayan. So kana akong gihatag dinitrogen pentoxide. Now, how are you going to make the chemical formula for this? Ang himuon lang nato class, dili mas complicated ang metal plus non-metal when it comes to chemical formula. Pag non-metal plus non-metal, actually diretso na ni siya. Ang himuon lang ninyo, write the symbol. So that's nitrogen, di ba? N. And then di means duha. So muna na siya automatic ang iyahang subscript. Tapos pentoxide, oxide is oxygen. And what do you mean by pent? Pent is 5.
5.
Okay. So this is now the correct formula for dinitrogen pentoxide. That's how you make the chemical formula for compounds na non-metal plus non-metal. Questions so far? As dapit diri ang wala na sabtan. Lisod?
Ma'am, ang pagsulat good ma'am kay dapat capital letter ang first word tas ang second word kay small letter.
Actually not necessary kay dili man na siya dili na siya unsa tawag na? Dili mo gud siya name like name sa tao nga ginakapital ang element. So actually no need man na magkapital jud. Yan na lang ako siya ginasulat, ginakapital na ko ang first and then the second one wala na ko siya ginakapital. Okay, anything else? Wala. So let's move on. Susunod. Polyatomic ions. Let's use the polyatomic ions. I hope you can see it sa akong screen. Makita ninyo? Kaning diri nga side sa right side, common polyatomic ions. Nakita?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Common polyatomic ions. Diba ingon ko sa inyo ha, maghimo mo og index card, ilista ninyo ning mga polyatomic ions, ilahang names, ilahang symbols together with their charges. We need these polyatomic ions because we have lots of compounds class nga combination of like for example metal, di na siya makita, plus a polyatomic ion. So daghan tag compounds nga ing ani. Pwede pud gani polyatomic ions plus polyatomic ion. So it is very important for you to know unsa ning mga polyatomic ions nato. Again, tumingon kag polyatomic ions, they are combination of two or more elements, but ang ilahang difference sa compound kay naa siya charge. Pares aning acetate. I hope you can see it sa screen. Acetate is C2H3O2 negative. So naa siya negative 1 nga charge. Mo na siya ang polyatomic ion. Now, pag magbuhat ta og chemical formula, let's have an example for this, pero mag-move on ta dito sa atong activity. So sa atong activity class, here it is. We have here aluminum, kaniha mga positive ions ni diri nga side, tas i-connect na to siya sa negative nga ions sa taas. So ang first one, gihimo na siya for you as an example. So ang number 1 manggod, you have to write the chemical formula of aluminum. Aluminum, tapos ang nasa taas kay carbonate. Ayan, aluminum carbonate. Mo na siya ang number 1 sa inyong activity. Himuon daw ninyo ang chemical formula. So ang steps ani class pareho lang atong sa metal plus non-metal. Di ba ang number 1 step ato, number 1, write the symbols. Again, number 1 ato, write the symbols. So aluminum is Al. Tapos carbonate class, carbonate is not carbon ha. Pag nag-end gani na siya sa 8 or sa ite, meaning ana, polyatomic ion na siya. Dili na siya single element. Again, pag nag-end sa 8 or sa ite, polyatomic ion na siya, dili na siya single element. Pero kung nag-end siya sa IDE, mao na siya class inyong hint nga yes, single element ni siya. Parihas anang let's differentiate kasi malibog manggod mo. Example, sulfide ug sulfate. So by difference ana nilang tatlo. Sulfide, sulfite, ug sulfate. Si sulfide class kay nag-end man na siya sa IDE, mauna siya ang sulfur lang. Okay? Sulfur lang gina siya. Pag nag-end sa IDE, siya na ang isa ka element lang. Single. Sulfur lang siya. Pero pag 8 ug 8 na gani na iyahang ending, polyatomic ion na siya. It's actually a combination of sulfur and oxygen. Ang inyoha lang tandaan, si ITE, pag ITE gani na ang ending, mas gamay na siya og oxygen. So this is SO3. Tapos iyahang charge kay -2. So na-charge ha ang sulfite kay polyatomic ion man na siya. So this one has lesser number of oxygen. Muna siya ang nag-end sa 8. Pero pag ang iyahang ending kay 8, this has greater number of oxygen, which means pamuingon kag sulfate, SO4, -2 na siya. So parehas sila na ay -2 nga charge, parehas sila na sulfur ug oxygen. Ang kalahian sa 8 ug sa 8, mas daghan ang oxygen ni sulfate. So mo na siya karon nga kailangan gyud mo magbuhat og index card for the polyatomic ions. So again ha, ang IDE mao ni siya ang single element. Mao na siya si sulfur. So I hope klaro na siya. Now karon carbonate man ni siya. So dili ni siya carbon. Kay kung carbon lang na siya, dapat mag-end na siya sa IDE. Ang tawag na to na carbide. Pag carbon ha, carbon, pag ending ganit siya, second element siya, ang iyahang ending kay IDE, we call that carbide. Pero kani kay carbonate man ni, so polyatomic ion na siya. And if makabuhat na mo og index card for the polyatomic ions, you will see there that carbonate is CO3. Again, carbonate is CO3. Now, ang next nato nga step, di ba ang next nga step is to identify their charges. So we have learned last time, a while ago, that aluminum belongs to group 3A. So iyahang charge kay positive 3. Tapos, ang carbonate class, so importante kayo magbuhat og index card ha, kay dili ba nato ni ma-memorize kadaghan. So CO3, -2. Unless na lang kung chemistry major mo or pharmacy major mo, you will all be required to memorize everything. Tanan nga polyatomic ions, tanan nga elements, even their arrangement in the periodic table. So kamo kay dili man required sa inyong course, let's use the index card at the same time your periodic table. Okay? So naa na ilahang charge. Naa na ilahang charges. So ang next step, di ba, kay i-add nato ilahang charges. So positive 3 plus -2 is positive 1. So we need to do the crisscross here. So unsay mahitabuan ni karon? Al, the aluminum will have the 2, isulat nato ang 2 dinhi. Tapos our rule class for the polyatomic ions, pagbutangan gani nato silag subscript kay parehas ani 3. Ibutang man nato siya kay carbonate. Dili nato siya himuon og C309 ha, dili siya ingana. This is wrong. Okay, again, this is wrong. Ang ginahimo class pag polyatomic ion, ang carbonate wala na naga-change iyahang chemical formula, CO3 gyud na siya pirmi. Pero kay butangan man nato siya subscript na 3 for polyatomic ion, that's the time we use the open and close parenthesis and sa gawas nato ibutang ang iyahang subscript. So the correct chemical formula now for aluminum carbonate is Al2, open and close parenthesis, CO3, 3. Okay? So again, ayun ninyo i-multiply ang charge ha dito sa polyatomic ion pareha sa CO3 nahimo siya C3O9. That is wrong. Ibutang nato siya sa open and close parenthesis. So pangutana, question, kanus saan nato gamito ng open and close parenthesis? Number 1, if we have polyatomic ions. Number 2, if maglagay tayo ng subscript doon sa polyatomic ion. Ilagay natin siya inside the parenthesis and then the subscript will be here sa gawas. Okay? Questions, class? About
Ma'am,
yes?
what if walang subscript, ma'am? Maglagay pa din ng parentheses?
Dili na. Kung walay subscript, dili na siya magbutang og parenthesis. So let me give you an example. We have sodium hydroxide. Okay. Or this is what we call the baking soda. No. Sodium carbonate, sodium bicarb and baking soda. Caustic soda di ay. This is the caustic soda. Sodium hydroxide. So ang first step, parehas gihapon, name the elements or the polyatomic ion. Sorry, symbol. So we have sodium is Na and then hydroxide class is OH. So polyatomic ion ng hydroxide ha. Tapos number 2, identify their charges. So Na is positive 1. Kay naaman na siya sa group 1. Tapos si OH class, ang charge ani niya kay negative 1. So positive 1 plus negative 1. Again, positive 1 plus negative 1 diba is equal to 0. So no need to do the crisscross. Ang final answer for this is just the combination of the symbols. So Na, tas itapad na nimo diretso ang OH. So this is now the chemical formula of sodium hydroxide. So again, no need to use the open and close parenthesis if wala kay subscript nga ibutang. Combine na siya diretso with the symbol of the other element. But please take note ha, capital na ang O ug ang H kay that's a combination of oxygen and hydrogen. Dili nimo siya pwede isulat og NaOH. This is wrong. Kay wala tay element class nga ang symbol kay OH. Natay element nga O, natay element na H. So kung idugtong sila, pareho sila na capital. Okay? Questions?
Ako ma'am, meron akong question po.
Yes, sige.
Sa kuan good ma'am, nalibog lang ako kadiri ma'am sa presa ng phosphate good ma'am. 'Di ba? Na siya O sa oxygen ma'am. Paano siya nakuha nung sa pangalan niya walay oxide or something nga.
Okay. So mao na siya kagaina ang use ni ite ug ni ate. Kapag ang iyaha ganing name kay mag-end sa either ite or sa ate, it means na ay present sa oxygen.
Okay po ma'am. Thank you ma'am.
Katong kagaina, we have diba the phosphorus. Pag ang phosphorus class, example, we will have the AlP3, AlPO3 ug AlPO4. Mao ni ilahang kalahian. Pag AlP3 lang siya, meaning pag name ani nato sa iyaha, we will just write the name aluminum tapos phosphorus man ni siya, di ba? P is phosphorus. Di ba pag second element ato ang himuon iyahang ending og IDE. So instead of phosphorus, mahimo ni siya og phosphide. Okay? So IDE ha pag single element. Tapos kung ang nakita ninyo din ha kay AlPO3 na ay oxygen, so the same gihapon aluminum, pero 3 man ni siya, lesser number of oxygen, so mauna siya class ang mag-end sa ITE. The ITE there denotes that there is the presence of oxygen, pero lesser compared sa PO4. So this is now the aluminum phosphate. Una ilahang kalahian, tatlo. The IDE, the ITE, and the ATE. Ite and ate, naa sila'y oxygen, pero ang kalahian nila mas gamay og oxygen ang ite, tapos mas daghan og oxygen ang ate. Tapos pag IDE ang ending, that is for class the single element only. There is no oxygen. So kanang pag makabati mo nitrate, nitrite, bromate, bromite, arsenate, acetate, nana sila yung mga oxygen nga kauban. Okay? So walay question. So ang inyong himuon diri kay again i-combine lang ninyo aluminum. Ang next ninyo nga himuon, i-combine ninyo aluminum and hydroxide. Tapos isulat ninyo dinhi ang iyahang chemical formula. Aluminum ug nitrate, aluminum ug sulfide. Tapos number 2, copper ug carbonate, copper ug hydroxide, ana lang. And then sa letter B, that's the same thing. You write the chemical formula also here sa mga given. Tapos, sa letter C is the naming. So, paano gani ang naming? Ang naming class, pag metal plus non-metal, ang first step is to write the name of the metal as is lang. I-write lang din mo ang name sa metal. Tapos, number 2, write the name of the non-metal and change the ending to IDE. Okay? Pag single element. Pero number 3, if the second element, if the second part or the anion, let me just write here the anion. The second part or the anion is polyatomic. Just write directly the name of the polyatomic ion. So this is how we name our chemicals. Example, AlPO4. So gihatag ko naman na kagaina. Al is a metal. So ang unsa himuon daw sa name sa metal, isulat lang diretso, aluminum. Tapos ang sunod niya nga part PO4. So PO4 class is a polyatomic ion, right? Dili siya single element. So dili siya mag-end sa IDE. Unsa himuon pag polyatomic element, polyatomic ion, ibutang directly ang pangalan sa polyatomic ion. And awan ninyo inyong listahan, PO4 is phosphate. So idiretso ninyo siya sulat dinhi. So the correct answer here is aluminum phosphate. That's how you name the chemical if metal plus non-metal. So example, another example, magnesium, magnesium. Let me think first. Okay, this one, MgI2. MgI2. You check magnesium, is this metal or non-metal?
Metal po.
Metal. How about iodine? Metal or non-metal?
Non-metal.
Non-metal. So correct. Metal plus non-metal. Our rule for metal plus non-metal is, una, you write the name of the metal. So the name of the metal here is magnesium. Tapos, ang sunod, this one is a single element only, so dili siya polyatomic ion. So kaning number 2 ato ang sundon. I-name daw nato ang non-metal pero i-change nato iyahang ending sa IDE. This is iodine. So pag i-change nato sa IDE iyahang ending, this will be called iodide. So idiretso nato siya butang diri class, iodide. So the correct answer here for MgI2 is magnesium iodide. So kung pangutana, dili ta mo gamit og prefixes dinhi. Naman ni siya 2 diri. MgI2. Are we going to use the prefixes or no?
No.
Yes, no, we are not going to use the prefixes. Kano sa gani nato gamiton ang prefixes if it is between Non-metal,
metal and non-metal.
non-metal, and non-metal. So parehas anang example din ha, P2O5. So you check. I-check sa ninyo kung metal plus non-metal ba na siya or non-metal plus non-metal. Kaya pag non-metal plus non-metal, mugamit ta og prefixes. Parehas ani P2O5 is phosphorus non-metal.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, the
Non-metal.
phosphorus is non-metal and then the oxygen is also non-metal. So pag i-name nato ni siya class, mo gamit ta og prefixes. So di ba pag 2 ang subscript, ang prefix nato ana kay di. Tas idugtong nato ang pangalan sa element, diphosphorus. Tapos ang sunod nga element, oxygen. Pila ka buok? 5. What will be our prefix sa 5?
Penta.
Okay, penta or pent. Ang inyong tandaan class, pent lang siya kung ang next, ang starting letter sa pangalan sa element kay vowel. Example, oxide. Vowel to siya. Pero pag consonant, you use the whole word, the whole prefix, penta. This is for the consonant. So, pent lang siya and then oxygen. Parehas sila class o rule na you write the name of the non-metal nga second pero you have to change the ending to IDE. So, instead of writing oxygen, we will write here oxide. So, this is now the true and the correct chemical name of P2O5, diphosphorus pentoxide. Pent lang siya kay O man ang starting letter for the name of the element. Pag consonant na siya, class penta na siya, penta. Like pentachloride. Kay C man iyahang start, so imuha siyang buon nga penta. Pero kung vowel gani, just use pent. And then idugtong ang pangalan sa element. Pag second element class, always change the ending to IDE. Okay? Except for the polyatomic ions. So it will be your task now to do the rest of the activity. You make your conclusion also what you have learned while you are doing the activity. So we have here this one, the first part, the second part, and the third part. You can print the activity pero handwritten ang answer ha. Again, you can print the activity pero handwritten ang answer. If you cannot print there, you write the activity, any piece of paper, pero no need to copy the introduction. Diretso na mo diri sa letter A. So this same pa rin ang instruction for the activities. Take a picture of it, of your answers, tapos i-organize ninyo siya in like Microsoft Word, i-save as PDF ninyo siya, and naka-PDF dapat inyong submission sa Schoology. Kaya maguba ang format ana kung wala naka-PDF. Question so far? Wala. So, it's 2:42. For the remaining time, you may start doing the activity, but it is due next week, Wednesday. Please stay here sa Zoom. We will wrap up before 4:30 later, and we'll also check the attendance. If you have concerns, you just raise your concerns here sa Zoom. Okay?
Ma'am, katong imong na assignment gahapon, kano sa to ipasa?
Next week pa po. Next week pa po to.
Asa to siya
Isang
i-submit?
format at